Our next topic is user plane function, UPF. The user plane function is responsible for routing and forwarding user plane packets between the base station and the external data network. When compared to 4G core, it performs the sum role of SGW and PGW. Uplink packets arriving from the base station use a GTP U tunnel to reach the UPF. The UPF has to remove the packet headers belonging to the GTP-U tunnel before forwarding the packets into the external data network. The UPF may provide connectivity towards multiple data network, so the UPF has to ensure that packets are forwarded towards the correct network. Each GTPU tunnel belongs to a specific PDU session, and each PDU session is set up towards a specific data network name. The DNN identifies the external network to which plain packets should be forwarded. Thus, the UPF has to keep a record of the mapping between GTPU tunnel, PDU session, and DNN. Downlink packets arriving from the external data network must be mapped onto specific QoS flows belonging to specific PDU sessions before forwarding towards the appropriate base station. A QoS flow corresponds to a stream of packets which have equal QoS. A PDU session can have multiple QoS flows. The UPF uses a set of SDF templates to map each downlink packet onto a specific QoS flow. SDF templates provide a set of rules for this mapping process. For example, the following parameter combination source IP address X, destination IP address Y, source port number J, destination port number K should be mapped onto QoS flow, A belonging to PDU session. The concept of mapping packets onto QoS flows using SDF templates is illustrated in the figure on the screen. After identifying the appropriate QoS flow, the UPF forwards the packet across the GTPU tunnel belonging to the parent PDU session. There is one GTPU tunnel per PDU session rather than one GTPU tunnel per QoS flow. The UPF marks the GTPU header to indicate the QoS flow associated with each packet. That is, the QoS flow identity QFI is included within the GTPU header. The UPF receives the set of SDF templates from the session management function SMF during the setup of the PDU session. The SMF generates them from information provided by the policy control function PCF. The UPF also verifies that the SDAP layer within the 5G BTS is applying the correct mapping between uplink data packets and QoS flow. That is, the UPF inspects the uplink packets to confirm that the correct mapping has been applied according to the set of SDF templates. The UPF can prioritize the packets being transferred across the transport network by marking them within the IP header belonging to the GTPU tunnel. That is, the outer IP header added by the UPF rather than the inner IP header which belongs to the end user application, assuming a PDU session has been set up to transfer IP packets. The Differentiated Services Code Point DSCP field within the IP header can be used for this purpose. The UPF is responsible for notifying the SMF when downlink data arrives for a UE which is in the CM idle state, that is, the UE needs to be paged before the data can be forwarded across the N3 interface towards the base station. The downlink data is buffered by the UPF while waiting for the UE to establish its connection and move into the CM connected state. The UPF is responsible for enforcing the session aggregate maximum bitrate, which defines the maximum permitted bit rate summed across all non-GBR QoS flows belonging to a specific PDU session. The UPF receives the session AMBR from the SMF during the setup of the PDU session. The SMF obtains it from the policy control function PCF. The UPF is responsible for tracking the volume of data transferred by each PDU session and reporting this information to the SMF. The SMF provides these reports to the charging system for billing purposes. The UPF acts as an anchor point for mobility procedures which do not involve a change of UPF. In general, the majority of XN based handovers and N2 based handovers will not require the UPF to be changed. In these cases, the data path is simply switched from the source base station to the target base station. Multiple UPF can be used to support multi-homed PDU sessions. A multi-homed PDU session is one which has more than a single anchor UPF providing data network connectivity. For example, a POU session can have a single branching point UPF providing connectivity towards a base station combined with two anchor UPF providing a pair of interfaces towards the external data network. This type of architecture is shown in the figure on the screen. Multi-homed connections can be used to provide redundancy and increase system reliability. Our next topic is Authorization Server Function AUSF. The AUSF is a control plane function within the 5G core network. Its primary function is to support both subscriber and network authentication, that is, the network verifies that the UE is a genuine authorized subscriber while the UE verifies that the network is genuine. AUSF and UDM together represents the functionality of HSS from 4G core. The AMF can call upon the AUSF to support authentication during the EU registration procedure. Similarly, the AMF can call upon the AUSF to support authentication during any other procedure which involves establishing a signaling connection within the UE. For example, the service request procedure. The authentication procedure is completed between the UE and the AUSF. However, the AUSF cannot communicate directly with the UE. The AMF is used to relay information between the UE and AUSF. The AMF uses non-access stratum signaling towards the UE. Authentication is categorized as a mobility management NAS procedure. The 5G system supports the following authentication method: EAP aka, which is revised version of EAP aka. EAP is an acronym of Extensible Authentication Protocol, whereas AKA is an acronym for Authentication and Key Agreement. 5G AKA, which is revised version of EPS AKA. In addition to authenticating the UE, these procedures generate keys for subsequent security procedures. The AUSF uses the Unified Data Management function during the authentication procedure. Subscription information is managed by the UDM. The AUSF may be configured to use a specific UDM, or it may use the network function repository function to discover an appropriate UDM. Here I conclude this chapter. Hope you understand all the concepts clearly. Meet you in the next chapter.
So what are you waiting for? Join us for the course and do subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Also, if you like our videos, don't forget to hit the like button and share our videos.